Buckle up. I'm exposing the shocking truth about where my Social Security benefits are going versus what they should be, as well as likely it's about your Social Security benefits where they should be versus where they are now, and how they've been derailed by the US government spending of our tax dollars. You won't believe the reality I uncovered, and stick with me. I'm Doug, and this is Dying to Retire. And today I'm diving into how this hits me and you and pretty much every other taxpayer in the wallet as well as their retirement future. I'm tackling what my Social Security could have been if our politicians hadn't been mucking around and mismanaging our tax dollars for decades. In this episode, after a little research, I reveal what our Social Security annuities could be versus what they actually are. And by the end, you're going to want to call your congressman or woman and demand change, or at least hop on X or whatever social media you use and voice your frustration. But before I dig in, here's a teaser. What if I told you most middle class couples should have retired with at least around $4 million dollars by the age of 60? Yeah, $4 million. Dollars. Stick around as I show you how this type of retirement should have been possible for most Americans. Stick to the end for even more shocking twist that's going to blow your mind. Over the recent weeks, we've been seeing eye opening revelations pretty much every day, each week from DOGE, Department of Government Efficiency, about how the US and the federal government basically has been mismanaging our taxpayer dollars. And the other day, there was a conservative senator on TV, and he was talking and he was defending DOGE. And I think it was an open session. Can't even speak English today. And he noted that most Americans, in particular retirees, should be getting more in Social Security benefits than they are. And what he was alluding to that because the Social Security Administration, the way it's handled with our contributions, if they were put into something like the stock market, you would end up with having millions more in retirement and then what you're getting. So this got me thinking. So think about it back in the day, and I'm a boomer, and a lot of y'all are boomers too, right? When we saw pundits get on TV and they called Social Security flawed and they suggested doing something like the stock market fix and everything like that, we cringed. We got upset. No, don't F around with Social Security. That was before Doge. Now, this senator pushed me to do my own self analysis. So, what I did, I went onto the Social Security website. I pulled down my information for over past 43 years, what I've put into the Social Security for my contributions, that is. Then I ran it through AI. I ran it through Grok, ChatGPT, and Perplexity, so I could get a commonality, different perspective. And they all came out pretty much the same output because I wanted to simulate how the growth would have been if it had been my contributions had been put in the stock market over time. Imagine this. If my Social Security contributions had been invested in a traditional, or think of a national 401 or federalized TSP, with an annual to 10 to 11% return over the past 43 years. And that's what it's been on average, actually a little bit more. I would have amassed over $2 million dollars by the age of 60 just by my Social Security contributions. This $2 million dollars would boost any other investment that I already had in place, as well as any other pension I'm doing as well. So this would be a massive gain. But let's keep on this a little bit more in $2 million. Dollars. Now I'm going to add my wife's. Okay, she's done about the same type of job I have, or the contributions over time. So that would make our total at 60 years old a staggering $4 million. $4 million. But before I delve into what $4 million would mean for retirement, let's face the hard truth. Social Security is deeply fraud. If anything, Doge's recent revelations pretty much show that our tax dollars meant for Social Security and other government programs were badly mismanaged, huge amount of fraud, waste, and abuse on questionable projects home and abroad. And this isn't just about the loss of potential financial freedoms. It's about a fundamentally fraud national retirement system. Our elected officials knew all along the system is broken, and yet they let it persist and they betrayed our trust. Now let's talk about what this $4 million dollars could do, and you're going to be outraged. Picture me or any middle class family with over 4 million in retirement. This means we could retire earlier because if it's like a 401 or a TSP at 59 and a half, you can start touching it. So you no longer have to work until you're physically unable. With this, we could chase our dreams, we could travel domestically and globally, volunteer for causes that we love instead of the government giving our money for stuff we don't give a shit about. But we also could strengthen our bonds and ties with our own families. And what I mean by that is think about it, we're getting older. And I'm in what you call the go-go years because you still can move a little bit. A lot of people are forced to retire in their slow go or no go years. But if you can retire in your go go years, that means you can provide hands on help to your kids and grandkids, ensuring that family values actually get passed down. I'm going to use a perfect example here. My sister in law, she just had her first grandchild. She's my age. If she could retire now, she would full time help her daughter with her grandchild. In fact, become that daycare because daycares are crowded, walking bug germs, germ factories, but it's super freaking expensive. It's not like us when us boomers were younger. It's not the same thing. There's 1,000 a week in some places. It's insane. But we could be able to help our children or grandchildren of that. It helps our kids save a lot of money because daycare expenses, like I just said, are astronomical. Like I said, this isn't just for us. It also helps our families where we can secure generational impact, keeping family ties stronger for decades. Or if you don't want to be the family person, you could start your own business. Again, putting money back into the economy. But an important thing to realize if it was like a 401k or a TSP, when you die, this money gets passed down to families, to your survivors, unlike what happens with Social Security these days. And yet, if you look at it, Social Security in its current form takes all of this away, all these options are gone. And it's almost like it's deliberately designed to keep us working forever, deliberately designed to rob us of time with our grandkids and everything else because it's just not enough money to survive. And I understand you're supposed to invest elsewhere. That's what I've done. But it helps create generational wealth for the middle class Americans. So now it's time to reveal what our retirement should look like. And afterward, you'll want to scream at your congressmen and women. Let's dive into the basics and using a conservative withdrawal rate because I'm going to do it this way because you probably will never touch your principal. And let's uncover what $4 million could do. And it's going to be jaw dropping. At a 4% rate, four, that's $160,000 a year for my wife and I to live in retirement, or just a little bit over $13,000 a month before taxes. All right. That can help get some really decent healthcare plans. That'll also help us continue paying for a mortgage or a house or sell the house and go get something else. That'll allow us for some travel, vacation time, do things we put off for years. But it also means pumping money into the local economy and local businesses, far above anything that Social Security will ever provide me. 5%. If you took out 5% of that $4 million, now we're talking $200,000 a year, or a little bit over $16,000 before taxes each month. That bumps it up a lot. Now let's take it to 6%, a simple 6%. This leaps to $240,000 a year or $20,000 monthly. This unlocks more opulent travel, foreign and domestic, better retirement lifestyle and living conditions, and more likely more time and money to spend on your kids and grandkids. But wait, there's even a bigger opportunity. Now, here's the twist, and it's really going to piss you off. Because at this moment, I've been talking about my wife's and my contributions to Social Security. But you know your employer is also contributing to Social Security that you don't see. It's not coming into your paycheck, but it could be. If I added my employers over the history of working, matching our contributions, and if had been invested similarly in the stock market, we would gain an extra $3 million, 1.5 each. Yes, that's right. We would soar to $7 million by the time you're age 60. It's a total game changer for most people's retirement. With $7 million, just 4% is $280,000 a year or $23,000 a month. At 5%, that's $350,000 a year or a little bit under $30,000 a month before taxes. And if you bump that up to 6% because you have feeling that year you want to go do some extra travel, that's $420,000 a year or $35,000 a month. That is enough money to fund a pretty good, really good healthcare plan, some serious luxurious living, and domestic and world travel a lot. And imagine the economic boost to the US economy as retirees now can spend that money supporting local businesses and communities. At the end of the day, what does all this mean for me? What does it all mean for you? Well, it means we must question how our government, our elected politicians handle our tax dollars. We need to hold them accountable, more accountable for mismanaging not just Social Security, but other programs. We need to scrutinize how Social Security is currently done, its effectiveness, and we need to explore alternatives like a national 401k plan or a federalized TSP program. There's a lot of other options in there, but we need to start talking about this because we need to ensure our contributions are invested in a manner that allows us, the American taxpayer, to choose how and when we retire. And this can mean more family time. This can mean more retiring without working until we're unable. We all have had a family member who worked up to the moment they died. This needs to stop. We can, with those funds, we can pursue our passions. We can enjoy more time with family. We can launch a new business that puts more money back into the economy. The Doge revelations are our wake up call. They have exposed a system that favors politicians, corporations, foreign interest, money laundering NGOs and nonprofits over us, the American taxpayers, more so than ever. Don't let this outrage simmer. Go on X or whatever social media you use, voice your frustration and anger. Call your congressman and woman. Demand they stop the fraud, waste, and abuse. Push for a better retirement system that prioritizes our financial freedom over whatever shit they're doing. Now, if you found this discussion as interesting as I did, eye opening as I did, please share it and don't forget to like and subscribe. It not only helps with the algorithms, it does keep the wife off my ass. Also, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. One, should we, for the sake of future generations, because us boomers were already screwed, should Social Security be put into an account like TSP or a national 401 plan? If not, what would you replace it with? Your input is important, and I'd love to hear your thoughts. As always, I'm Doug. This is Dying to Retire, and I'll see you guys in the next episode.